Hello and welcome to Cooking the Books with Heather. Today we're going to be working again from Christopher Kimball's Milk Street Fast and Slow using our Instant Pot here. And we are going to be making simple white beans. This is a recipe that you sort of have a base recipe, and then it also has several things you can do with these beans after this recipe. Honestly, I have no idea what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to make one of the recipes tomorrow with the leftover beans with, I don't know. I don't know if we're going to eat them tonight. I don't know. I just wanted to go ahead and cook these beans because I've had them in the cabinet for a while. We are starting with, these are Great Northern beans, dried. They have not been soaked at all. I've picked them over, I've rinsed them, and they've been sort of just draining over this while we set everything up. I took out any rocks or ones that looked weird, and there happened to be a chickpea in there as well. The recipe calls specifically for cannellini beans, which are a different white bean, but does give you instructions for cooking a smaller white bean like navy beans or Great Northern beans like we are going to do. So that's what we'll be following. So I have my Instant Pot here. It's plugged in. And all we're going to do is put the beans in here. We're going to add some salt. This is interesting because in a lot of recipes you don't put salt in to start with because sometimes it keeps them from getting tender. I don't know. I don't cook a lot of beans from fresh, but well, not from fresh, from dried. I mostly go with canned beans, but we're also adding some baking soda. So I don't know if that will help it. I don't know what the goal of the baking soda is here, but I assume that it will maybe help it to soften up, maybe. And now we're going to add water. I'm going to go with hot water. It doesn't say hot or cold, and I know hot water will help it come up to temperature and pressure quicker. And I don't think it'll matter all that much if I start with hot water from the tap versus colder water from the tap. So, water. So I put the water in there. I'm giving it a stir and just kind of making sure the beans are pretty much all in an even layer. We're going to put the lid on. We are going to make sure it is on high pressure, and we're going to cook this for 5 minutes. So let's see. I have a bean/chili mode, which does high pressure, but I also have to take it down from 30 minutes. This is just a pre-soak sort of method, I think, since we didn't soak them. Oh, we also need to make sure that we are on sealing in your on your pressure cooker. So since we didn't soak them, this is sort of a quick soak method that we're using the Instant Pot for. So while we're doing that, I can put this away because we don't need that anymore. And I'm going to be chopping an onion. I'm going to be chopping up some fresh sage and taking care of the garlic that we're going to be using in the next step. That set of beeps means that the 5 minutes is up, and now we're going to do a quick release. I highly recommend a silicone hot pad for this because There's going to be a lot of very hot steam coming out, and you got to be careful. I don't want to hurt myself. So we're going to turn our valve to venting, and it's going to be loud, and there's going to be a lot of steam coming out. All right. So I can take the lid off now. It will open up. So that's what I'm going to do. There we go. You can see it is still very much boiling in there. The liquid in the lid. And I'm going to use these once again. We're going to pour this into a colander in the sink, and then we're going to run cool water over it to rinse them. My beans have been rinsed and cooled, and now I put my insert back in here, and we're going to turn on the saute function. And there is a measurement for this. I'm not going to measure, but I'm going to put in some, it calls for extra virgin olive oil. This is the olive oil that I keep for cooking, so that's what I'm going to use. Supposed to heat it till shimmering. Let's see. It can heat a little bit. All right, I can hear the little bits of water that were still in there kind of boiling off. I'm going to add the onion that I've chopped. Some of it I chopped a little bit more finely than I really intended. The other half I didn't. It doesn't really matter. I'm also going to add some bay leaves and some garlic cloves that have been smashed and peeled. And the last of the fresh sage that I could get from my winter plant that's looking really straggly. Let's just call this kind of scraggly out there. But we're adding all of that in here. I'm going to stir it up a little bit. We're going to let this cook for about 5 minutes, just until the onion is softened a little bit. It won't be fully cooked, but we want to get that started, basically. Oh wait, we also need to add some salt at this point. There we go. Just stirring occasionally. So, about 5 minutes. And I'm going to go ahead and start getting some more water ready, because when we're done, we'll be adding more water. It doesn't say, so ground pepper is in the ingredients, but it doesn't say ever. Oh, it says you season with the pepper at the end. So I will not be adding any pepper right now. We'll be adding that at the end, after the beans are cooked. I'm going to call that good enough. My onion is definitely starting to get softened, and it's going to cook pretty well under pressure, so I'm not too concerned. We need to return the beans to the pot. So this is what they look like after they have been cooked for the sort of pre-cook. And we're going to be adding water. Again, I'm going with the hot water just because it won't take as long. Okay. Again, supposed to kind of give this a stir, get everything in an even-ish layer. Now, this recipe does have instructions for both fast and slow. I'm going to turn the saute off since I put the lid on. We're going to use it fast again. And so in the instructions before, it says if you're using the Great Northern or the navy beans, to set the cook time for 12 minutes. If you're slow cooking, it's 6.5 to 7, no, 6 to 6.5 hours instead of 6.5 to 7 hours. So about a half an hour less, whereas it's about 4 minutes less of cook time for the smaller beans if you're using the pressure cook. So we're going to turn it on to, I'm again use my bean setting, but I'm going to take it down to 12 minutes and make sure it is on sealing. And that's it. Once that is done, we're going to let it naturally release. So we're not going to touch it for 20 minutes. And an Instant Pot does have a timer on it that will tell you how long it has been releasing. So that's a good tip. That's a good feature of having an electric pressure cooker like this rather than one on the stove, that you just kind of have to remember to time yourself. So in 45 minutes about, I think this will be done. So we'll see you back then, show you what it looks like. I've now been waiting for this for 20 minutes since it stopped, and we're going to open it up. Should be able to open it up without venting it now. And that is not the case. Let's see. Almost. It was almost there. And these should be done. But to finish, we are supposed to drain these again in the colander. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to put them back into this container so I can bring it back over here and taste them. So one thing, I do need to find the bay leaves. One of them stayed in the colander. There's that. And the big garlicky chunks. I'm sure you can leave those in there if you'd prefer, but all right. Let's see if these are cooked. I hope so, because we did discard all of the water and flavor. That is not cooked as much as I would like. The second one was, the first one wasn't. They definitely need some salt. I think they're probably mostly cooked okay. I am going to add some more salt, a decent amount, and some pepper. Just to give them a good base of flavor. I don't think we're going to eat these just as they are, just because I don't have a current use for those. I'm not getting, the sage isn't overpowering. Of course, my taste buds have not been great lately. I've been a little bit under the weather, and yeah, taste buds have not been exactly right. So I will have my secondary taster taste these, just to see what he thinks. But I don't think I was a little concerned that the sage might be a little overpowering, but so far I don't think so. And that one was not quite done. I don't know. I think I'm going to make the white bean with roasted red peppers, the white bean dip with roasted red peppers with these. So hopefully that will help with maybe not quite all of them being done. I think these beans were a little bit larger than some Great Northern beans, so I probably should have gone with a few extra minutes. But probably not the whole time. But I went by the recipe because that's what we do here. Anyway, stay tuned and watch what we do with these. And if you've enjoyed watching me make this, please give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and come back and watch me make something else, probably with these, next week.